You think you're ahead of the curve buying gold right now. You saw the all-time highs in 2024. You read the headlines, Gold Rush 2025. You listened to the experts telling you it's the ultimate safe haven asset. You feel smart, strategic, protected. You're late, and you're being played. Because while you're congratulating yourself for discovering gold in 2025, central banks have been quietly accumulating it for 3 years straight, at the fastest pace since 1967. While you're buying your first ounce, feeling like a financial genius, China just added 225 tons. Russia's been stockpiling since 2014. Poland, Singapore, India, they've been loading the vault. They knew something you didn't, and they weren't buying it to protect their wealth. They were buying it because they're planning to collapse yours. Gold isn't a safe haven. It's a geopolitical weapon. And the 2026 gold rush isn't investors getting smart, it's retail money arriving at the party just as the hosts are cashing out. You think you're buying security. You're actually buying someone else's exit liquidity. And here's the part that should terrify you. This isn't even about gold. It's about what's breaking in the background that's making everyone run to a medieval safe haven invented 4,000 years ago because nothing modern works anymore. And then it gets worse. Imagine waking up in a world where the dollar, the currency that's dominated global trade since 1944, is being quietly abandoned by the same countries that built their entire economies on it. Your government debt just hit $36 trillion, and the interest payments alone are bigger than the defense budget. The bond market, the safe investment boomers swore by, is hemorrhaging value so fast that pension funds are having quiet panic attacks. Banks are failing, not one, not dramatically, just steadily. Regional banks collapsing like dominoes while regulators smile and say everything's fine. And every financial expert on TV is suddenly talking about gold, a shiny rock we stopped using as money 54 years ago like it's the only lifeboat left on a sinking ship. It's not a gold rush, it's a trust collapse. And the people who saw it coming aren't the ones buying gold in 2026. They're the ones who've been selling you everything else while quietly stacking bullion since 2021. It's like watching someone throw a party, invite 500 people, and then quietly slip out the back door with the silverware. And you just got the invitation. Welcome to the 2026 Gold Rush. You're not early, you're the exit liquidity. The official story, gold is surging because it's a safe haven asset in times of uncertainty. Investors are worried about inflation, geopolitical instability, and economic volatility, so they're rotating to gold as a hedge. It's a classic flight to quality. When stocks are risky and bonds are shaky, gold shines. It's been this way for 4,000 years. Gold is stability, gold is security, gold is the smart move when everything else is chaos. That's what Bloomberg says, that's what your financial advisor will tell you, that's what the ETF commercials promise. But that's only the version Wall Street wants you to remember. Because it makes you feel smart for buying. It makes gold look like a rational, individual investor decision, like you're being prudent. The truth? You're not hedging against inflation. You're hedging against the deliberate destruction of the monetary system you've trusted your entire life. This isn't a market trend. It's a controlled demolition, and the people running to gold aren't running to something. They're running to the realization that the entire 1971 fiat experiment is failing in real time. Let me show you what's actually happening. Here's what they're not telling you. Central banks have been net buyers of gold for 15 consecutive years. Not investors, not hedge funds, not retail. Central banks, the institutions that create fiat money, are trading the currency they print for a medieval metal that can't be printed. Think about that. The people who control the money printer are choosing a 4,000-year-old rock over their own product. In 2022 alone, central banks bought 1,136 tons of gold, the most since 1967. 2023, another 1,037 tons. 2024, on pace to exceed both. Who's buying? China adding 225 plus tons while lying about the actual amount. They do this every cycle. Russia, banned from SWIFT, ditching dollars entirely, hoarding gold. Poland doubled reserves in 2 years. Why does Poland need that much gold? Singapore quietly stacking while staying silent. India, Turkey, Qatar, Czech Republic, all loading the vault. They knew something you didn't, and they weren't buying it to protect their wealth. They were buying it because they're planning to collapse yours. And this is where the story gets absolutely sinister, because gold isn't just a hedge against inflation or uncertainty. Gold is what you buy when you're planning to survive the system you're currently destroying. Here's the part they never mention. While central banks are buying gold, they're simultaneously selling U.S. Treasuries, the safest asset in the world, at record pace. The secret of the 2026 gold rush? It's not about protecting wealth. It's about building the foundation for a new monetary system that doesn't include the dollar. This is the De-Dollarization Playbook, and it's been running in plain sight since 2014. Step 1. Accumulate gold quietly. 2014 to 2021. Russia, China, and other BRICS nations start buying gold while the West laughs at them for being archaic. Step 2. Dump U.S. Treasuries, 2022 to present. China has sold over $300 billion in U.S. debt since 2021. Japan's cutting holdings. Even allies are rotating out. Step 3. Build alternative payment systems, 2023 to 2024. BRICS announces plans for a gold-backed trade currency. Saudi Arabia considers yuan-denominated oil sales. The petrodollar monopoly cracks. Step 4. Wait for a crisis. 2026, perhaps? Debt spiral, bank failures, bond market collapse, dollar confidence breaks. Step 5. Reveal the gold-backed alternative. We have the gold, you have the debt. Who's the reserve currency now? This wasn't an accident. It's a ticking time bomb built into the global monetary system since Nixon closed the gold window in 1971, and everyone involved pretended it would work forever. It's like watching the entire world quietly build lifeboats while the Titanic captain insists the ship is unsinkable, and you, retail gold buyer in 2026, just bought a ticket to first class. Too late, the iceberg's already hit. And here's the part that should make you furious. While central banks were accumulating gold at the largest pace in 60 years, the price barely moved for a decade, 2011 to 2020. How? Price suppression through paper gold. The COMEX futures market trades 100 to 300x more gold than actually exists in physical form. Banks sell futures contracts, promises to deliver gold, without owning the metal. This floods the market with fake supply, suppressing the price. Why? Because if gold prices surged while central banks were buying, it would signal that the dollar was dying. That would cause panic. That would accelerate the collapse. So they suppressed the price. Let the smart money accumulate quietly. Let the dumb money stay in stocks and bonds. Then, when accumulation was complete, they let the price run. 2024, all-time highs. 2026, gold rush headlines everywhere. But the smart money isn't buying anymore. They're selling to you. This wasn't reckless investor behavior. This was ignored warnings turned into coordinated extraction. Central banks warned you by buying. Financial media told you gold was outdated. You believed the media. They bought the gold. It's like watching someone sell you an umbrella for $1,000 after they've already built an ark. Sure, the umbrella works, but it's not going to save you from the flood. So what does the 2026 gold rush actually mean? It's not a bullish signal for gold. It's a catastrophic signal for everything else. Gold doesn't go to all-time highs because gold is great. Gold goes to all-time highs because trust in the alternative is collapsing. Think about what has to be broken for people to run to a metal that pays no interest, generates no cash flow, requires physical storage, can't be used digitally, hasn't been money since 1971. Everything modern has to fail for gold to look attractive, and that's exactly what's happening. Trust in fiat currency, collapsing, 40-year high inflation, currency debasements globally. Trust in bonds, collapsing, worst bond market in history, yields inverting. Trust in banks, collapsing, SVB, Credit Suisse, regional banks failing. Trust in government debt, collapsing, $36 trillion US debt, interest payments exploding. Trust in the dollar, collapsing. BRICS, de-dollarization, reserve status eroding. Gold isn't rising because gold is valuable. Gold is rising because everything else is dying. You're not buying a safe haven. You're buying a medieval fallback for a civilization regressing 4,000 years because modernity failed. Here's where the medieval metaphor becomes perfect. In the late Roman Empire, 300 to 400 CE, as the currency debased, infrastructure crumbled, and trust in institutions collapsed, what did wealthy families do? They converted their wealth into gold, buried it in hoards, and waited for the collapse to finish. Archaeologists find these hoards all over Europe, thousands of gold coins buried and never retrieved. Why? Because the collapse was so complete, the people who buried them never survived to dig them up. Gold preserved their wealth through the collapse, but it didn't save them from the collapse. That's the dirty secret of gold. It's an admission that the system is unfixable. It's a bet on survival, not prosperity. When a civilization starts hoarding gold in mass, it's not a sign of strength. It's a sign of terminal decline. Rome hoarded gold as the empire fell. Weimar Germany hoarded gold as the currency died. Now, central banks are hoarding gold as the post-1971 monetary system dies. You're watching the same movie, different costumes, same ending. So, should you buy gold? Maybe, but not for the reasons they're telling you. If you're buying gold as a safe haven expecting it to protect your wealth while everything else continues normally, you're wrong. Gold doesn't work in a functioning system. Gold works when the system breaks. If you're buying gold, you're making a bet that the dollar loses reserve status, the bond market collapses, banks continue failing, governments default or hyperinflate. The modern financial system regresses to medieval bartering. Is that your bet? Because that's what gold prices. Here's the honest framework. Buy gold if you believe the monetary system is terminally broken. You're willing to hold for 10 plus years through chaos. You understand it's insurance, not investment. You're buying physical, not paper ETFs, which are the same scam that suppressed prices. And you accept that if gold works, everything else you own probably failed. Don't buy gold if you think it's a trade you'll sell in 6 months. You're chasing 2024's returns. You're late. You believe the system will stabilize, then buy productive assets instead. You believe ETFs are real gold. They're not, and you'll find out the hard way. The real question isn't should I buy gold? The real question is do I believe the system is fixable or dying? If fixable, buy businesses, real estate, skills, relationships, build in the system. If dying, buy gold, land, food security, community, build outside the system. Gold is a binary bet. It either works spectacularly or fails completely. There's no middle ground. But here's what terrifies me. The fact that gold is the safe haven tells you there's nowhere left to hide in the modern financial system. Stocks, overvalued, vulnerable to recession. Bonds, worst returns in 100 years. Cash, inflating away. Real estate, overleveraged, illiquid. Crypto, volatile, regulatory risk. The only safety left is a 4,000-year-old rock. That's not a bullish signal for gold. That's a catastrophic signal for civilization. When the most advanced financial system in human history, derivatives, algorithms, central banks, and digital currencies, fails so completely that people run to something invented before written language, that's not a market cycle. That's a system failure. The 2026 gold rush isn't about gold. It's about what's dying in the background. It's about central banks preparing for a world where the dollar doesn't matter. It's about institutions quietly exiting the system they built. It's about smart money selling you the umbrella after they built the ark. You're not early. You're the exit. But here's the choice. You can buy gold and bet on collapse. That might be the right bet. It might save your wealth through the chaos. Or you can look at what gold's rise is actually telling you, that the system is breaking, and ask, what do I build in a world where 4,000-year-old rocks are the only thing people trust? Because gold preserves wealth. It doesn't create it. Gold survives collapse. It doesn't prevent it. Gold is the bunker. It's not the civilization. And the question you have to answer is, are you preparing to survive or preparing to rebuild? Because the people buying gold right now, they've already given up on rebuild. They're in survival mode. Are you? The gold rush started 3 years ago. You're just hearing about it now. That should tell you everything.